If you've ever felt like the more you lean in, the more they pull away, this reading is for you. There's a specific dynamic that creates that intensity. It's often called the anxious avoidant cycle. One person moves more toward the connection, and the other person moves away from it. And the more that happens, the stronger the emotional charge becomes. Today, we're going to look at that dynamic through tarot. Not to diagnose anyone, but to understand the pattern. Because once you see the pattern clearly, you stop personalizing the behaviors. Let's see what the cards have to say. Let's take a look at this dynamic through 5 cards. First, the anxious energy, the avoidant energy, why the push-pull feels addictive, what keeps it repeating, and what shifts the pattern. So first card we have, the avoidant energy, is the Knight of Pentacles reversed. The Knight of Pentacles, when it's in the reverse position, feels like inconsistent effort. This isn't dramatic abandonment. It's slower than that. It's stalled follow-through. In the anxious avoidant dynamic, the avoidant energy doesn't necessarily disappear, just becomes unreliable. One week they're steady, the next week they're distracted, then they pull back, and then they re-engage. It creates instability without closure. And because it's not explosive, it's harder to name. Reversed, this Knight suggests someone who wants connection in theory, but they struggle with sustained emotional investment. The energy feels young, not in age, but in emotional stamina, in maturity. Card number 2, we have the anxious energy. And here we see the moon, and the moon showing us anxiety. It's projection. It's filling in the blanks when clarity is missing. In this dynamic, the more inconsistent the night becomes, the stronger the moon energy grows. You start reading into tone shifts, text delays, subtle cues. The moon doesn't like uncertainty, so it creates stories to survive it. And the anxious energy often isn't reacting to what is happening. It's reacting to what might be happening. The unknown becomes louder than reality. In the third position, we have why the push-pull feels addictive. And here we find judgment. Judgment is intense. It's awakening. It's meaning-making. It's the feeling that this connection is significant. This is why the anxious avoidance cycles feel bigger than they are. Every rupture feels like a turning point. Every reconnection feels like destiny. Judgment and energy can make ordinary dynamics feel karmic. And that intensity is addictive because highs and lows activate the nervous system. The reunion, it feels powerful precisely because the distance hurts so much. In the fourth position, we have what keeps it repeating. And here we find the Empress. The Empress is nurturing energy. In this spread, she feels like she's overgiving. The anxious energy often leans into reassurance, caretaking, and tons of patience. The Empress believes love can grow something, But in this dynamic, nurturing can accidentally compensate for inconsistency. Because the more one partner soothes, accommodates, explains things away, the less the other has to stretch. So the cycle stabilizes, but definitely not in a healthy way. With this card, the Empress is asking, are you nurturing the connection or are you managing it? And in the fifth position, what shifts the pattern? And here we see the Knight of Swords, cutting through this with so much clarity. This card represents directness. It's no longer interpreting behavior, it's naming it. This card doesn't wait for the other person to regulate first. It says what's happening out loud. And in anxious avoidant cycles, the shift often comes when someone stops adapting and starts speaking directly. Not aggressively, but clearly. Clarity disrupts the ambiguity, and ambiguity is what feeds the cycle. When we look at this spread as a whole, the intensity doesn't come from love alone. It comes from inconsistency meeting uncertainty. The avoidant energy pulls back, the anxious energy leans in, the cycle escalates, judgment makes it feel significant, nurturing sustains it. But here's the clarity for what finally changes it. This dynamic isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about patterns and noticing those patterns and creating awareness around it. Once you see the pattern, you get to choose whether you continue participating in it. Thanks for watching.